Don't eat raw cookie dough. Hi, I'm Hawk, and today I'm going to show you how to make Merry Christmas cookies. Well, sugar cookies to be exact. It's super simple. I know what you're thinking. How does this fit with costuming? And it doesn't. Absolutely doesn't. I just felt like doing something a little different today. So I'm going to show you my gluten-free recipe for sugar cookies. So this is a dead simple recipe. Just 11 ingredients. But, important thing, let's have a recipe card. I don't care how many times I've made this, I always look at my recipe card. I don't care if I'm making taco seasoning, lasagna, something I've made 1,000 times, I always pull out the recipe card. And I don't want to get anything wrong. Even though there's just a couple of steps, it's enough that I'd rather be safe than sorry. So, we have all-purpose gluten-free flour. Bob's Red Mill, it's not bad. I also have, according to my recipe card, I'm using 1 3/4 cups gluten-free flour. 3/4 cups almond flour, teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of xanthan gum. Xanthan gum? Most supermarkets carry this stuff now. It's a binder. It's like artificial gluten, basically. It gives things structure. We have 1 1/4 cup sugar, 3 ounces of softened cream cheese, a full stick, 8 tablespoons of melted warm butter, you need it warm, an egg, and then a tablespoon of vanilla extract. Big bowl. We mix all the dry together, right? That's pretty much it. I like to put everything in cups. Frustrates her a little bit because, more dishes, more cleaning. But there's something satisfying about this, right? Almond flour likes to clump together, and this really helps. I could sift it before I put it in. Not that big of a deal. I'm using the bowl of my stand mixer for the wet ingredients. The nice thing about a gluten-free food, you can't overmix it. There's no gluten to overwork, so you can mix as much as you want. I'm going to microwave my butter because it seems to have solidified. And add everything else while I wait. Egg. Warm butter is going to help melt everything together. So you really want to make sure it's warm. But yeah, there's a point. You don't want to overheat. Because if you overheat it, it's going to separate. There's a couple of streaks. It's fine. We're not trying to go to ribbon stage or any lightning or changing of colors. Just mixing everything together. At this point, just dumping the wet in the dry. Nothing special about it. Again, since it's gluten-free, you don't have to worry about overmixing. It's fantastic. So I've been a celiac for about, my whole life technically, but I've been showing symptoms for about 20 years now. It's really been that long. Yeah. And it was devastating when I first found out. Absolutely devastating. But the more research I did, the more I find benefit to it, right? I can never just go to McDonald's and have a cheeseburger, which has probably served me better than anything else at all. Finding out, you can't overmix doughs, super neat. So, it has its benefit. I'm not doing it just because I think it's a healthier way to be. I'm actually celiac, and I don't have much of a choice. So now we're just gonna mix this till it's fully incorporated. Takes as long as it takes. Shouldn't take too terribly long. It's going to be a sticky dough. Let me show you what we're working with here. So it didn't take much to put everything together. Oh, there we go. That's even better. But it's all homogeneous, it's all one thing. You don't need to let gluten rest, but we do want the dough to hydrate. That's part of the problem with gluten-free stuff, is it gets very grainy if you don't let it do its thing for a little while. So this is going to get plastic wrapped and then put in the refrigerator for half an hour. It's had a half an hour to rest. Preheat the oven to 350. I have nails. I never like getting dough under my nails, so are gloves. This half an hour has given the dough much more body. It'll actually be workable now. So we're going to cut this into 24 even pieces. Best way to do this is just cut it in half and then half and half. Oddly enough, I don't have a bench scraper. You'd think I would by now. I want to get 12 out of this one. The more we handle it, the gooier it's going to be, so we want to do as little as possible. And then 6 out of this. That was a little smaller than the rest. It's alright. Let's get huge. You're probably going to get 6 per cookie sheet. I do 2 cookie sheets at a time. But first, a bowl and some sugar. They're about 2 inches apart, or 6 per baking sheet. Just rolling it in sugar. We're going to do the same thing with this one. Just cut it in half and then in thirds. Nice thing about the sugar is it stops the bottom of this bowl from sticking when I smush these flat. Don't have to go crazy at this point. They will spread in the oven. Speaking of which, these go in a 350 degree oven for 12 to 18 minutes. Double check. 12 to 14 minutes. While we wait, this goes back in the refrigerator. This is also where you can decorate it if you want to put sprinkles on top, maybe crosses or whatever. I just like cookies as cookies. Seems like I've spent my entire life waiting for one thing or another. Suppose the oven shouldn't be any different, huh? So this isn't my normal style video. I don't really do baking on this channel. I do a lot of baking in real life, just not here. The beginning of summer, we decided to add on to my house, right? It's going to be a master bedroom and a craft room. Sat down, designed it. It ended up being, I'm going to have that section be part of my sewing room, so I can actually sew somewhere warm, not, you know, out in a cold garage. And we had concrete issues. Nobody could get concrete. There's a shortage or supply issues or one thing or another. So kept getting put off and put off and put off. And then the middle of fall, everyone exploded with concrete trucks. I guess something happened. We had concrete again. Every municipality was doing concrete here, everywhere. And then it finally got to a point where the smaller people, and I would consider myself a smaller person, of course, started getting things. And it just kept getting pushed off and pushed off. And I kept looking at the clock, looking at the temperature, and it finally hit a point where it was too cold to pour concrete. So we've been referring to it as bigger house. Bigger house isn't going to happen this year, and I'm kind of upset about it. And it's kind of put me out of the mood to do any real crafting. And since it was in my sewing room and crafting room, I was like, I'm not in the mood for anything. Which is why I've gone to twice a month as opposed to 4 times a month for filming. And to get myself out of that little funk I've put myself into, I figured, let's do a win. Sugar cookies. I love sugar cookies. They're easy to make, so that's why we're doing it, by the way. Plus, it's nice to start out the year with something new. And we're ending the year with something new and starting the year with something new. This is just before New Year's Eve for me, and it'll be just after New Year's Eve for you. So, you know, it's kind of got a totality to it. That puts us at 3:50. So I'm going to set an alarm for 12 minutes, and we'll see you then. I'm going to rotate them halfway through, by the way. I'm going to put the bottom one on the top, top one on the bottom, and then spin them 180 degrees. I'll show you that one when I show you that one. Alright. Set timer 6 minutes.
6 minutes, starting now.
Set timer 7 minutes.
7 minutes, starting now.
See you in 7. Alright. I see how they're just barely starting to golden a little bit on the edges. I'd say they need another minute, minute and a half. Give them 5 minutes to cool, then take them off the baking sheets. Sugar cookies. I love sugar cookies. They bring me back to a weird time in my life, right? We all have that moment where it just makes us smile. I like sugar cookies. This video really isn't about sugar cookies. I mean, it is, but it's not. Sometimes we all get wrapped in a funk. We kind of lose sight of what we're doing. You know, being grounded every now and again. Pulled back to your core kind of helps. A lot of people look at baking like it's some weird science that they could never possibly learn. It's alchemy. It's not. I get the same excuses for why people could never sew. It's all practice. Baking's just following a recipe. Look at this. We make cookies. These things are amazing. I'm gonna bring one up to you. Right about there. Yeah, right about there. Look at that. Lightly golden browned edges. Oh my god. It's flaky. It has just a little bit of give. This is a delicious cookie. You notice a couple are already missing. But it's chewy. It's delicious. Nice cup of hot chocolate. That'll make a winter's day. But this was a much needed break. This is your kind of thing. Way better channels than this one. I don't bake here. I make costumes and I do costume-like things. If that kind of thing is interesting to you, think about sticking around, like, subscribing. If you're looking for baking, go check out Josh Weissman. He's kind of a kid, but he does good quality stuff. America's Test Kitchen. Oh, fantastic recipes. Ming Tsai does amazing stuff with food. There are way better chefs out there than me. I make costumes and sugar cookies. And hopefully I'll see you next week.